As an American, I've not been very well introduced to Indian issues surrounding gender, and I was wondering what those issues are for you as a woman in India.
I'll tell you, there are so many things that boys can do and girls are not allowed to do. Parents won't tell you directly, you're not supposed to do this. It's like you're fed from the childhood. It's like one drop of it, then there is a spoon, then there's a whole packet of it that you eat every day. It's not told to you directly, you're not supposed to do this, but it is given from us, from our childhood, and it's so much in us. I have to speak personally. It is so much in me that I have become a part of it, and sometimes I cannot differentiate the things the gender inequality happening to me. Then when I really think, I realize there are so many differences that a boy and a girl, and there's a lot of differences with how they treat a girl and a boy. For one of the things is I don't have a brother, but I have cousins of my same I have cousins who are a little younger than me, a little older than me. They have a lot more freedom than me. They are allowed to have girlfriends, they are allowed to go out late night parties, and they are allowed to do so many things that I'm not allowed. Allowed in the sense my parents do not tell me, but it's like it's become a part of me that I myself don't feel like doing any of those things, and I have to tell that I don't like going out for late parties. I guess I'm brought up in a very protective. My environment is pretty protective. I've been taken care, looked after. I don't like to take risk. I start gauging situation where I don't want to go out late nights where I will be in trouble. What about you? I don't know how it is.
In the United States, I think people might be surprised that it's not entirely so different from India. I think we see a lot of gender issues between young males and young females in the home. I think that with some of my friends, I had some friends, in fact, that were twins, one girl and one boy. And the boy was able to stay out later at night. He was able to do more things. He didn't have to tell his parents every step of where he was, and yet the girl was expected to. And I understand what you're saying. It wasn't that they were told, you will not do these things, and he will. It was just a cultural, it was just over time, told a little at a time. But I don't think it's maybe to the same extent that you're speaking of in India. You mentioned marriage, that you're all ready to get married. I think some people have the impression that in India it's all arranged marriages. Is yours an arranged marriage, or is that a marriage that you're that you have arranged?
Okay. It's not like Indians only go in for arranged marriage. It's not like that. They go in for love marriage. They go in for arranged marriage. It's their choice. But the arranged marriage still exists in India, and it's very much so. For me, I don't think I found anyone special till now, and I'm 23, and this is that called the borderline, where girls have to get married when you're 23 to 5. So I think I'm going for arranged marriage, and I haven't found a guy as yet. It's my mother will be doing all this. I'm mother in the sense the boys' parents will look out for a girl, and they find someone special, someone nice, they'll ask my parents. It's still arranged. But I like I told you I'm so much an Indian. I like the idea of getting arranged marriage. It's very exciting. I'm very curious how it's going to be, knowing a new person. And I have to tell that you must be wondering how it is. How could you go in for an arrangement without knowing a person? It's like I have to tell the divorce rate in India is pretty low, and they learn to and they fall in love. That's all. They fall in love after engagement. It happens nice. It's like a fairy story, and they live ever after. Happily ever after. It's like that. I don't know. I'm in for arranged marriage. I guess I'll go in for arranged marriage.
That sounds like something I wouldn't almost mind. I'm 22, and at times I think I wonder if I will ever get married, if I'll ever find that right person.
Okay.
So it doesn't sound like an all bad thing, like some people might think.
It isn't. It is like when you go in for arranged marriage, when you're looking out for a guy to fall in love, you find guys that like something about the guy, positives, and most of the time when you go for dating, it's like you see only the positive things and few of the negatives. But once you engage, it's like almost a fixed thing, and once you get married, you accept the individual with totally. You just accept the negatives also. You have got no choice, and you accept the positive, and you learn to live with it. And as far as I know, many of my friends have got into arranged marriage, and they're pretty happy about it.
When you're to become married, how does your status as a woman in India change?
Okay, I think one thing is it's just a big step an Indian woman takes from being a spinster to a married woman. It's like first of all, there's a little pressure because it's an arranged marriage and everyone is new to you. It's like in India, when you're getting married to the total family as well. It's not like you're getting married to the guy alone. It's like his family is your family. You have to accept them. You got to love them, and when you get married, there is others start to respect you and treat you in a different way. How is it that you find your wife, or how would you find your mate? I have heard a lot about dating, and it's like what I have heard is from TVs and from magazines, but I would like to know right from you.
Well, in America, we don't have our family to help us as much as in India. It sounds as though it's a family process.
Yeah.
And in America, I think that we're put out on our own a little more at that time in our lives. It's time for strings to be cut. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because people take different approaches to dating. Mm-hmm. Some people go out with someone they don't know at all and just decide to go on a date. Other people just take friends who they've known for many years and just the relationship transitions from friendship to another sort of relationship. Dating in America is very strange because often it's the girls that set this, but there are levels to the relationship. Okay. You're dating without really dating. Okay. You're going out on dates, but you don't really have a committed relationship, or once you have a committed relationship, it's at different levels, and sometimes us guys don't even really understand all these levels.
Okay.
But it's much different and without the family structure.
How was it with you?
My experience in dating?
It's all exciting.
Well, some has been very good and some has been very bad. Okay. The bad has been just asking someone I don't know at all to go out on a date, and there's been, you feel uncomfortable sitting at that date without knowing that person very well. There's the cliched American date, which is going out to a movie and then dinner afterwards or something like that. And
after what years? I mean, what is your age that you start dating? At what age do you start dating? Is there it
depends upon you and your family. That's one area where your family has some involvement, because your mother or father might say, you're not going to date until you're 16.
Okay.
Probably on average, like 15 or 16 until you're married. I'd say most people get married between 22 and 30, maybe. Okay. Maybe it sounds as though maybe a little higher than in India. Is that about the age in India?
For boys, it's usually boys don't get married very early. It's like 26 on. Girls get married before 26. No, it's not has to get married. They usually do before 26.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And then, do you normally marry a male who's older than the female?
Yeah, normally, but there are some exceptions where girls get married to a person who's younger than them. But normally it is, we prefer little older guys.
I see.
How would you find your wife, and how do you expect to get married?
I hope to marry someone that I'm in love with. You mentioned arranged marriages or marriage for love. Yeah. And I suppose I hope to marry for love.
If you marry for love, how come your divorce rate is pretty high? I mean, if it is love that you're looking for, and if it is love that you find.
I'm not sure we know how to find love. That may be the answer to that. In American culture, we think we know love because we go on dates and we try to get to know the person. And perhaps it's more important what happens after marriage, and that's the part we're missing out on. Maybe we find people that we seem to be very compatible with and that we care for very deeply, and yet after marriage, we allow that to deteriorate. Both parents and households now tend to work in America. We tend to have smaller families now, and altogether, perhaps that is what accounts for the higher divorce rates. Maybe it's not whether you date or you're arranged in marriage. Maybe it's more the maintenance on the marriage and creating deeper relationships after the initial vows.
Okay, I have this strange belief. I feel God has created one person to everyone. And it's that old story of Adam and Eve. God created Adam and then he created Eve from his bone. So I believe I am made for someone, and I have a strong belief God will get us together someday.